Hello, I'm Chanel. This is Spirited Stardust. Today I'm showing you what I do when I get a new deck. So I've made a tag called newdeckwhodis to just guide you through my little ritual or initiation process, orientation, whatever you want to call it, whenever a new deck comes into my collection. The deck I'm using today in this video is Whispers of the Soul Oracle by Susana Tavares. So the first thing I do when I get a deck, before I even open it, is I set up a sacred space. So I take out my cloth, I put my crystals out, I light a candle, and I just sort of set the intention of, this is what we're doing now. Then I unwrap the deck, hopefully take off not too much plastic. The first thing I do once I get the deck out is I smudge it. So I like to use any herbs from my garden. My mother makes her own smudge sticks, or I might use some ethically sourced Palo Santo, and I'll say something like, I dedicate this deck to and the greater good. May only good enter here, and so it is, like something of that vein. I like to just cleanse it of any previous energies it might have and make sure I dedicate it to the good. So once I've cleansed it, I then go through every card. So I like to put my energy on the deck after I've cleared it by touching every card. Sometimes when I have a lot of time on my hands and I feel like doing it, I might make piles of cards that I instantly resonate with and cards that maybe make me feel a bit of discomfort or that I don't resonate with. Like I said, I don't always do that, but I do go through every card. Once I have touched and looked at every card, I see how I can modify the deck. So for me, I love edging. If a deck is not edged, I will edge it. It will be done. I sometimes trim them if they're way too big and I can trim them. I might round corners. I just see what I can do if it needs any work. And once I've done that, I then like to read the guidebook. So I don't read the individual card descriptions, but I'll read everything before it. So anything that the author creator has written in the book, I will read it all, so I can get to know what their intention with the deck is and their sort of thoughts and processes. And after I have read the book, I will touch the deck to my heart and do a do my deck interview. So I sort of made up a little deck spread up, put a picture up right now of the questions I ask. And I do this every time. So the first question I ask is, what card represents the energy of this deck? I like to personally talk to the deck, like as if it is an entity. I will say, hey, what represents you? What card represents you as a deck? And I find this question really telling. It lets me know what the personality of the deck is like, what their energy sort of is, what I can sort of expect in terms of how they'll communicate with me or how I will use this particular deck. So I find that, which card represents you as a deck, just really informative. And then I'll say, what card represents me? And then I get to see like how the deck sees me currently. And then I ask, what is this deck going to teach me? Or say, what are you going to teach me? And I love reading that one because then the deck will tell me like what sort of lessons they want me to learn, or what knowledge they want to impart, or what things I might need help with, or things I need to do some work on. So what are you going to teach me? And then I'll say, what is my current life purpose? So for that, I feel like life purpose is different to sort of soul purpose. Your soul has like certain lessons, certain karma and all that sort of thing. Life sort of purpose, like human life, I feel like changes, as you grow, as you learn other lessons. So it's like, what should I be focusing on now in my life? What sort of, things should I be putting my attention on, or how can I serve others best right now? So that's sort of like the life purpose question for me. And then I might say, what card do my guides really connect to? I don't always do that. I might say, what message do my guides have for me right now? So I can get, a message from my guides immediately with a new deck. But sometimes I'll say, what card do they connect to? And it's so funny, I got Archangel Raziel. I might have to look them up later. So that's the interview spread that I always do when I get a new deck. I love it. It tells me so much about that deck. And it also, like, there'll be decks when I might instantly have a bit of like, oh, I don't think I like this deck. But then I'll do the deck interview and I'll be like, hot damn, okay, that was so insightful, that was so amazing, so unexpected, and it completely changes my opinion on a deck. And vice versa, there might be a deck I think, oh, this is so pretty, it's so, you know, lovely, it feels great, da da da, and then I'll do an interview and I'll be like, oh, that didn't read that well. And then I find the deck interview really tells me, like, is it going to be a deck that reads well for me or not? So yeah, after the deck interview, I will do any spreads that are in the guidebook. So any spreads that the author has put in the guidebook, I will do. And then after that, I will put the deck away, and for 1 month, I will use it every day. So I didn't used to do this, but I do it now. So I use it every day for a month, and that way I know by the end of that month, is this deck going to stay in my collection, or am I going to pass it on? Because I want to keep my deck collection at a manageable level, and I only really want decks that I already know I really enjoy, that really help me, that read well, that I like. I don't want mediocre decks or okay decks or anything like that. I want one that has its purpose in my collection, and I need to, you know, work with it every day for a month to really make sure I know, oh, you would definitely stay, and I'm gonna keep you forever. Because also, once I have decided that I'm going to keep a deck, I make it a little home. So I will go and get all my yarn out, and I will find the yarn that really, like, I feel represents the deck, and I'll make it a little bag for it to be in, because I don't like keeping my decks in their boxes at all. I don't like the energy of boxes. They're all sharp corners and rigid, and I don't like that vibe. So I like to make something from my own hands, create something specifically for each deck, so it's one of a kind. And yeah, and then I'll put it in its box with all the other decks. So I sort of group my decks according to sort of either their aesthetics or their energy. So I'll find which table it can sit at. You can sit with us. Like for this one, I would say I'd be looking at either like my goddess and fairy decks, anything that's playful, childlike, magical. I will look towards those dudes, and I'll be like, hey, these are your homies, and I'll slot it in and say, you know, thank you for your messages today, and then let it rest. So that is how I initiate decks into my collection. Feel free to, you know, if you want to use the tag, go bonkers, make your own vids, or just write down below like what you do, what your sort of rituals are, your process is when you get a deck and bring it home. What do you do with it? So I hope you're having a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And as always, stay wild, Star Child.